Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Ringside Rundown Podcast. My name is Erik Vasquez, and joining me on the line is my podcasting partner in crime. Yes, that rhymes. And we just figured out that we've been doing this for over 5 years. Welcome to today's episode, my very bestest friend in the podcasting world, Shay Hickson. Shay, what's going on, my friend? How was your week?
Not too bad. Yeah, it really has been 5 years, although it doesn't feel like it. It just feels like last year. We were thrown into the chat and okay, guys, have fun, and it's just like
Yeah, it's like we always talk about, like, when we talk about like how long we've been doing this, we always talk about like the very first time we recorded an episode 1 of the Ringside Rundown Podcast is pretty much the very first conversation Shay and I had together as just becoming friends. You know, we didn't have like a pre-day where we kind of got to know each other and then said, hey, we're gonna do this podcast. I looked online and I wanted to revive a podcast and I wanted to do it with the host, but I really wanted to do it with someone who was going to be all about it. And that's definitely you. And I can't even remember how we got linked up. I think you were doing some writing for a different website.
yeah, TWM.
Yeah, and they had said that I had mentioned that I wanted to do a podcast and everything, and they had said, yeah, we definitely have someone in mind, and it was you. And for real, to me, this is like, we've been doing this for 5 years, but it's been the easiest 5 years because I have someone and a partner like you doing this, and you made it so easy and made this show so freaking easy to do that. Like you said, it doesn't even feel like 5 years. It just feels like we've been doing this for weeks.
Yeah, and it's kind of insane, honestly, how horribly wrong this couldn't have even been a thing. We might not have even been talking right now because just even saying that out loud sounds very almost psychotic in a way. 'Cause it's like, yeah, I think I had been wanting to talk more about stuff that I just didn't want to keep repeat. I think it had obviously stuff to do with Shayna Baszler at the time and her very questionable booking, and I just didn't want to keep writing articles about it over and over again. And I'm like, well, if we had a podcast or something, that would like probably make it a little easier because you can kind of get away with doing that on a microphone. And I asked my boss per se, Richard, at the time, and he put us together. And yeah, it's like, I wonder if the listeners actually do think we're joking when we say that, but it's like, no, the first time we ever talked was he set us up in the chat or like the video chat or whatever, and he's just like, all right, you guys are good, okay, have fun, and then left. So it was just us.
Yeah.
So if we didn't have the same, I don't know, the same vibe, the same like interest in like wrestlers and whatever, music, give or take, you name it, it could have been horribly awkward, horribly quick. But I think we were both just determined to get it to work to begin with, that we're just like, all right, well, we're just gonna go no matter what, and if it fails spectacularly, it's gonna fail. But the more we started talking, the more we realized we were kind of into the same wrestlers and the same aesthetic and just whatnot. So ended up getting lucky. We got really lucky, and yeah, it just does not feel like 5 years. It just feels like it literally is just two friends talking on a microphone once a week, because that's just what it is. I mean, if we would just be doing this any other time. I mean, hell, we do that on texts and DMs and whatnot. It's just two best friends talking about wrestling.
Yeah, that's what it's come down to. Like, we met randomly. Our first conversation was our very first episode, and now this day comes, and it's like, I consider you, your mom, like family. Like I would let you crash on my couch. Like I consider you guys close family, and to not hear from you guys almost on a daily basis, you and your mom, it would be kind of weird.
Yeah. She's gonna send you that cookie pie. Remember, she's literally gonna send you that.
She sent me the pictures, and I was like, I could eat about like 3 of those.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So,
she's literally going to send you one. We just decided it's probably gonna be better in like the winter months, so it doesn't really just melt into the box. But yeah, it was very funny because she was very distraught this weekend about Moe's being closed down near you.
yeah,
So
yeah. Oh, she felt my pain.
yeah, she's like, "Oh, did his Moe's really shut down?" I'm like, "Yeah, it did." Because this one's like 45 minutes away. She's like, "Oh, I bet he's just pissed." I'm like, "Yeah,
uh,
he's not having it." But that just goes to show you, it pretty much confirms what you said, where it's just like we remember stupid little things we talk about on the podcast and just bring it up.
yeah.
Like we were even talking about your nephew. You finally got to meet your nephew
Yes.
this week.
Yes,
And yeah,
today I got to meet my nephew
today.
for the first time. I got to feed him, and that was an experience because I'm nervous as all hell, and he's just laying there like a rock. He doesn't move, he doesn't make a noise, he doesn't cry, he just sleeps all day. So I was like, this baby's got the life. He's definitely one of us. He's definitely one of us the way he sleeps all day.
Yeah, I wish it was that easy. I wish I could just sleep all day and not have to, worry about the horrors of adulthood, but,
Well,
we persist. So.
well, ladies and gentlemen, enough of us blabbing about our personal lives and what's going on. This is a professional wrestling podcast where Shay and I discuss the latest happenings of what's happening in the world of professional wrestling, whether it's WWE, AEW, New Japan, TNA, Ring of Honor. It doesn't matter if it has something to do with wrestling. We are talking about it. And today's episode is a big one because I feel like this hasn't happened in a while, where a full weekend of pay-per-views and PLEs is happening this weekend with WWE and AEW. So we're giving you a full episode of predictions for both WWE Night of Champions and AEW Forbidden Door happening this weekend. I'm strangely excited for all this wrestling that's happening this weekend. I know we've been talking about how we feel about the products, but I feel like when it's a weekend of wrestling, when you got AEW, when you got WWE on one day and then you got AEW, if you're a wrestling fan, you're pretty stoked about this.
Yeah, you got a whole week's worth or weekend's worth of wrestling. Where who's to complain about that? I feel like we we kind of touched on it a little bit before we came on here in our kind of like what do we call them, pre-production meetings or whatever, and we're excited, but the problem we have specifically with Forbidden Door, not so much Night of Champions, is that Forbidden Door is it's an enigma of a pay-per-view for us,
Right.
because the problem is that there's 10 matches on the card, which you would think like, oh, this is going to take them forever to go through these predictions. But here's the problem, and we're just going to give you guys a fair warning just from this jump, just so you're not, like caught off guard in the middle of these matches. These are going to be rather easy predictions for us, and most for the fact of some of them are very obvious, and others we just don't know enough about New Japan or any of that to like give proper commentary without just talking out of our ass.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And I think the other problem with Forbidden Door, especially too, is some of these matches are title matches, but when you have you have an AEW title and the opponent or the challenger is from New Japan or vice versa, it doesn't really leave any room for like, oh, they're really gonna bamboozle us here. They're really gonna like surprise us and turn those tables. It's like not really. So I mean, if you hear us saying, okay, well this one's pretty much self-explanatory. We think this person's gonna win. We're not gonna have a whole lot of thought behind it, mainly for the fact of we just don't know enough to talk about the New Japan wrestlers, and also if there's a title on the line, I don't think we're going to be seeing any title changes, but just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a heads up if it seems a little light on the Forbidden Door side, because you said the biggest issue was the fact that is AEW's biggest issue, unfortunately, is just the fact that you could look at this card for Forbidden Door for the most part and just go, they really just threw all of this together, most of this together, for the sake of just throwing it together. There's really no storylines with these. These are just like, oh, well, it's Forbidden Doors, so we have to have these dream matches, guys, because it's, oh, well, this is the one chance we get with New Japan to do stuff with, like, other wrestlers. And it's just like, okay, well, you guys could be capable of like interweaving it at least a little bit,
Yeah.
but some of these are just, oh, well, we needed a insert AEW wrestler here versus insert New Japan wrestling here. So it's like, okay, like, what do you want us to do with that?
Right. I think in this case, I feel like AEW could have done a better job of showcasing the talent that's coming in a certain way, whether it be a vignette or
Yeah.
or a simple match or something like that. Like, okay, the go home show is if you're listening to this, it's Wednesday, so it's probably Wednesday evening that the go home show is happening. You could have a couple of New Japan people on the card for Wednesday Night Dynamite and have them in a match where they can show off what they do. It would be awesome to see Starlight Kid, who I'm a little bit familiar with, in a match. You know, she can be in a match against, I don't know, somebody, you know, somebody that could take a loss and it wouldn't really help them. But Starlight Kid is one that we could see a lot. They did it with Zack Sabre Jr. They had Zack Sabre Jr. on Collision. It's smart. So why not do it for people like Shota Umino, who's going to be taking on Pac, and like Shingo Takagi and Teton, who are going to be in a tag team match on the pay-per-view. So that way people can get at least a little familiar with them if they're not familiar with the New Japan product. I haven't watched New Japan since maybe before COVID. I think the time where I was watching New Japan on a regular basis, like Kenny Omega was still there, and you know, he was still running things, and he was having his quad matches with Okada, and I think that was the height of my New Japan fandom, and that's when I really paid attention. But other than that, after that, I kind of fell off. And you know, I feel like this show is for Tony Khan specifically, who is more of like a message board internet wrestling fan. And he books this, as he calls it, for the psychos, but the psychos are just those internet wrestling fans that are on the message boards, on Cage Match and stuff like that. Like, there's some matches on here that I'm really interested in, the Maya World story and her ascendancy in the Owen Hart Cup tournament and how she's gonna perform. Kenny Omega, Zack Sabre Jr. is a great match on paper. You know, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm hoping like Swerve Strickland can bring me back to where he was a couple of years ago, where I was a big fan of Swerve Strickland and he was running things. He's gonna have a great match against Will Ospreay. So there are matches on this card that you're like, okay, I would want to see that match. It's just there's like a lot of bread in this sandwich and not a lot of meat.
Yeah, yeah, and you can only handle so much bread, but
Yeah.
yeah, you make a very good point, because it's just like, you can't expect the casual wrestling fan to know any of these people from New Japan.
Right.
Like, you have to be locked in and paying attention to, you may know of them, you may be like, the names might be recognizable, but if you don't really know a lot about them, how are people supposed to care of like, oh, this match is actually really going to be like sneaky good because of who's in it? But
Right.
people just don't have the interest anymore. Not in like New Japan in general, but it's just like, not a lot of people outside of, like you said, the psychos are paying attention to anything outside of just WWE or AEW. It's usually just the big companies. So it's like, you guys have to give them more of a reason to actually, oh, I don't know, care about the match, other than, I don't know. I guess the only way I can think that they're doing it this way is that, oh, well, if they have a really good match, then, oh, I don't know, then maybe that'll get them more invested in New Japan. And it's just like, okay, well, that's very bold of you to assume that the matches are automatically going to be great. Because what happens if they go out there and it's a botch fest, or what happens if they go out there and it's just not it's like, it's not hitting the way it should? That's not going to get them. Like, you got their money for the pay-per-view, and that's it. They're not going to go check out New Japan now because you didn't, like, grip their interest. So, I don't know. It's a love-hate relationship with Forbidden Door as a pay-per-view, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, we might as well get into it on this AEW Forbidden Door, including the one pre-show match that they have listed. There is 10 matches on this card, so a lot of a lot of people you're not familiar, maybe you're not, I can't just assume people
Yeah,
don't know, but
on average.
on average, like you said, it's more so I wish they did a better job of understanding that even though like you're not supposed to cater to the casual fan, you have to give the casual fan something, a little
Yeah,
something. So like a vignette, a promo, having them in an exhibition match, like I'm telling you, if they I'm just pointing this out, if they had a match on Dynamite or Collision before the pay-per-view and Starlight Kid was on it, people are going to be amazed by Starlight Kid. I actually am a
yeah,
little bit familiar with Starlight Kid, and I enjoy her body of work. I think she's great. And she would definitely be someone that you put on TV and people go, wow, look at that, that's really cool. So
yeah,
like I think it just does, AEW does too much of, we're not a sports entertainment company, so we don't have to really try to cater to the casual audience. Our audience is more the hardcore wrestling fan, and there's nothing wrong with being a hardcore wrestling fan. I'm a hardcore wrestling fan, but I also understand that wrestling is good too when you this sounds harsh, but when you kind of dumb it down and,
yeah.
and and make it simple to digest. If you make it simple to digest, people are going to be more inclined to tune in the next week. So that's the kind of thing I'm having with AEW. AEW is like you can go 2 weeks without watching AEW programming and you don't miss much, because 2 weeks of AEW programming, a bulk of it is just random matches and maybe a couple storylines, you know. But like
Yeah.
bulk of it is just random matches for random matches' sake. So if you miss 2 weeks of programming, you're not missing much. Whereas in WWE, you miss a week of television and you're already lost because they progress storylines. That's their whole MO, is progressing storylines. And that's what I wish AEW would try to do more of, and that's progress storylines all across the board, not just their main events, not just their big Will Ospreay matches or whatever, but all their matches. Everything has to have a purpose to being on this show. It can't just be randomly thrown in there to throw off the audience or to placate a certain section of our fandom. We have to make sure everything has a purpose on this show and is guiding the show into what the next show should be. But let's get into AEW Forbidden Door. I said that one preview match on the pre-show that they have listed is Divine Dominion, Megan Bayne and Lena Cross versus Thunder Rosa and Olympia from CMLL. And this match is for the AEW Women's World Tag Team Championships. This is one of those matches, like you said before, it just seems like if a title's on the line, they're not really going to switch it and give it to, they're not going to put AEW World Tag Team Championships on Thunder Rosa and Olympia, who Olympia is not a member of the AEW roster, and Thunder Rosa has been used sporadically. She hasn't been used that much. She's cleared to go, obviously, because she's on the pay-per-view, but even since her recent return from injury, she hasn't been used that much.
No, not at all. Yeah, you, I mean, you pretty much said it because, obviously, no, uh, diss to Olympia or anything, but it's just like also, you're not gonna like take the titles off of Megan Bayne and Lena Cross already. Like, they're just too good of a team to like. Every time I want to say it, it always just sounds so mean, but it's just like when you see a team like Thunder Rosa and Olympia, you don't think that's the team that's going to beat Megan Bayne and Lena Cross. It's just not going to happen. Like, that's just unfortunately it. But again, kind of goes into the whole, this is a Forbidden Door special at its finest, where it's just like, okay, well, this really isn't that. It's like there's going to be no suspense, really. I mean, like, yeah, you may have some like good false finishes here and there in a good portion of these matches, but you're just going to be sitting there going, well, yeah, I mean, of course, Divine Dominion's going to win, because why wouldn't they? It's like, yeah, of course, insert whatever wrestler here is going to win, because of course they're going to. It's just like, it's just so anticlimactic in a way, if that makes sense, because it's just like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a good match, but it's like, we already know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
it kind of is. It's hard to get excited. A little too,
yeah.
too excited.
The one thing is, I will say Megan Bayne and Lena Cross, perfect tag team. It just makes
Oh, yeah.
sense. They just fit each other like a glove. And the last match I did see of them, it was the before the Ty Mello and Anna Jay match that they got beat, which is a story they should be following instead of this,
Yeah,
because
literally.
that has an actual story with Ty Mello and Anna Jay attached to it. That is an actual wrestling story that they can progress that for a couple weeks. But no, they have to pivot and go to Thunder Rosa and Olympia because it's Forbidden Door. We have to make it so it's I don't know. But either way, I like Divine Dominion. I think they're a great tag team. I don't nothing against Thunder Rosa. I've never seen Olympia, so I'm actually, as a wrestling fan, this is giving me something to look forward to see someone for the first time. Want to see how she works in the ring. But again, I think Divine Dominion is going to take this one.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a pretty easy choice.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, so moving on, we have a match for the AEW World Tag Team Championships in the men's division. Cope and Cage, Adam Copeland, Christian Cage, the champions, will be taking on the Dogs, David Finlay
Yeah, your favorite.
and Clark Connors. Oh man,
I
yeah.
have to.
I mean, I tried so hard, especially with this past episode of Collision. The Dogs cut a promo. They had a backstage promo segment, and it was just like, fuck, I can't find one thing I like from these guys at all. Like nothing that makes them stick out and say, wow, these guys are different from anything that's on the roster, anything that's happening in wrestling. They just look like two regular ass dudes to me,
Yeah.
and it's just, I can't buy into them. They look like stale white bread. That's the only thing I can associate with, to the point where it's like actually making Adam Copeland and Christian Cage more interesting, which is again, if I was the guy that was in charge of storylines and creative, Cope and Cage wouldn't be the champions. Why would I put the championships on two 50-year-old men? That's like, that goes against any sort of logic. But for me, the Dogs fall so flat that they make Cope and Cage seem so interesting, and it's just like, well, all right, I guess I'm going for Cope and Cage on this one.
Well, I mean, yeah, because why else would they lose? You can't have them lose already. I mean, you went through all this like hoopla to give them the belts. You're not going to turn around and just take them off them. So it's just like, no. And it's also, again, as mean as it sounds, it's just like you look at the Dogs and you go, yeah, that's not the team that's taking these titles off them. It's just not happening.
I don't see any aura, anything that makes them stick out and go, wow, that's a badass tag team right there. The Dogs, I mean, they're an offshoot of the Bullet Club, but this was like when Bullet Club was already worn out and stale and run its course and everything like that. So how are we supposed to even care? Like, you can't even use that as an offshoot to say, hey, they're a spinoff of the Bullet Club. Nobody gives a shit about the Bullet Club in 2026 anymore.
No, it's a shame. I mean, it's run its course, so it's like there's no reason to care. There's really no reason to care unless you really like these guys. Who cares?
Yeah, so I am going to go with Cope and Cage on this one. How about you? What do you say?
I'm also going with Cope and Cage. Like, again, it's so obvious.
And watch us be wrong. Watch us be wrong.
Oh yeah.
Because the last couple prediction episodes, we've been a little off, but you never know with the way this is going, with the way AEW is going. Who knows what the hell's gonna happen?
They might completely blow the card up. Who knows? We might get all of them wrong. every title might change. Right. You never know.
You never know. But the next one, we have a 3-way tag match. No titles involved, just a straight 3-way tag match. The Young Bucks will be taking on El Sky Team. That is comprised of Místico and Máscara Dorada versus Unbound Company, which is comprised of Shingo Takagi and Titan from CMLL, Shingo Takagi from New Japan. Again, this is a match. I obviously, if you're familiar with AEW, you're familiar with Místico and Máscara Dorada. I'm not too familiar with them as a tag team. I don't really watch New Japan, even though I know Shingo Takagi. I've seen plenty of his matches. Really, I'm really a big fan of his. Teton, I don't really know much about. So again, this is one of those things. If you're a wrestling fan, on the positive side, you could look at this and saying, this is something that's gonna hit my eyes and it's gonna be fresh. It's gonna be
Yeah.
different from what I've seen. I'm expecting a lot of fast pace, high flipping action, especially with Mystico and Dorada in there with the Young Bucks. Shingo Takagi is more of a powerhouse guy. And so I'm expecting a lot of flips, a lot of obviously super kicks, a lot of dives to the outside. But as far as a prediction, I guess my safe bet would be the Young Bucks because they're the one team that I'm super familiar with.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would have to agree. I feel like this is going to be one of those matches where there's going to be really no storytelling because
No,
there
yeah,
isn't. It's just going to be a bunch of spots. And that's pretty much all it's going to be. And I mean, if you're into that, great. And like you said, you get introduced to several new wrestlers that you may have not have been familiar with, and you get to see their work and everything, and that's great. And it's going to be, it shouldn't be a bad match, I wouldn't think. It's just like, this just kind of looks like one of those matches where it's like, oh, well, we needed to have a Forbidden Door-esque match on the card, and we need to have the Young Bucks on the card, so yeah, we're just going to throw this together just because we can,
right.
and yeah.
This
Just don't expect a lot of technical wrestling, let's put it that way.
this would be a match that I would take off the Forbidden Door card and I would put it on Dynamite tonight. You
Yeah,
know, to
totally.
kind of give people to whet their appetite about what Forbidden Door is all about. I would have one or two matches on Dynamite tonight featuring some New Japan talent or maybe some CMLL talent on there, and I would also do it on the Saturday's episode of Collision as well. Just to give people like this is a taste of what Forbidden Door is. You may not be familiar with these wrestlers, but it'll open your eyes up and maybe whet your appetite for the pay-per-view, and you definitely want to check them out.
Yeah, exactly. I
Uh,
just feel like they just don't give them people enough time to prepare. It's
right,
just like just another AEW pay-per-view, guys. You guys got it. Don't worry about it. But
right.
yeah, it. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that's a tough ask for people, and then asking them to spend $50 on top of that.
Hmm.
You're gonna
Like,
do most of the heavy lifting when it comes to absorbing this pay-per-view, the stories, the matches, the setup, and everything, and you got to pay $50 for it. If you don't know who Shingo Takagi is, or Teton, or Mystico, or Mascara Dorada, well, like watch it, you'll enjoy it. Well, trust us, just trust us. That's basically
yeah.
AEW's motto there. Just trust us.
Yeah, I mean, if it's any indication, when Mom was down this weekend, I mean, for one, she forgot that there were pay-per-views this weekend, so that pretty much tells you the interest level. But then she's also just like, she kind of like looked at the card and everything, and she's just like, I don't know if I'm interested in watching this. She's like,
Yeah,
I don't know if I want to spend $50 on this, especially when, like you said, if you're a casual fan, you're like, why am I going to spend 50 plus dollars on a card where I don't even know half the people?
right.
Like, it's
That's
just, it's not, especially nowadays in today's economy, that's not a very good investment where you're like, I mean, I guess I'll buy it and hopefully it's good. And then you're just like, oh, well, I just wasted $50 of my money that I could have used for like other things to watch a show where I didn't know half the people.
right. And like you said, in this economy, that's a tough ask just to
Yeah.
have people, just to blindly have people be. I think AEW relies on its loyalty
Hmm.
of its fan base a little too much, and they don't
Oh, yeah.
they don't really try to, again, they don't try to expand the fan base with maybe some casual viewing or doing some casual strategic placement on the product for casual fans. And this is coming from a diehard wrestling fan. Most diehard wrestling fans could give a fuck less about the casual fan. They don't care about the casual fan. I think the casual fan is a necessity in wrestling because the casual fan is the most likely one to spend the money on the live events, the merchandise, the revenue that really drives who should be on top in this industry are geared by the casual fans. You know, and not
Yeah.
to get off track here, but I mean the casual fan was introduced to Danhausen, who has become WWE's biggest merch seller. You know,
Mhm.
especially now with the NBA finals and everything that Danhausen did with the Knicks and everything, that just propelled them into rocket ship status. But that's
Yeah.
casual fan stuff that AEW can take anybody from their roster and build up to that certain level if they could kind of just shift the way their brain thinks about what our audience should be. I feel like they take to heart we have to be the counterculture to WWE so much so that it's become a detriment that it's just like this is for hardcore fans and hardcore fans that have been fans for like 10 years that know wrestling inside and out. And if you're not one of those people and you get lost in the shuffle, oh well, come back later. Maybe we'll have something for you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just I think they need to kind of retool how they try to reach their fan base, but I think that unfortunately they kind of just dug their heels in and they're like, oh yeah, well no, these are the loyalists, they're gonna stick with us no matter what. And it's just like, that works for a little bit, but ask WWE how much the loyalty goes, because if you screw them over enough and insult their intelligence enough,
Yeah.
not gonna really matter.
Right, exactly. But moving on, we have a match for the AEW Continental Championship between champion Jon Moxley versus Bandito, who is the Ring of Honor World Champion. I say that because even as the Ring of Honor World Champion, it's pretty easy to see, at least on my end. I don't know about you. Jon Moxley retaining the title for the Continental Championship, and not that I have a problem with that because Jon Moxley, like, I have sort of an ebb and flow with Jon Moxley.
You have a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, I can go months and say he's had a couple stretch of matches that were really, really good. And then like he'll have a couple stinkers that is just like, oh, that was pointless to watch. You know,
Yeah.
like I felt like the Death Riders match against Shane Taylor Promotions in the Cincinnati Street Fight that happened on Collision. That was great stuff. I enjoyed that match. But Jon Moxley, I forgot who he had a match with on Dynamite, the one previous before he had a match on Dynamite, and I'm streaming it, and me and Mike are in the chat, and Mike's just like, well, that was just fucking pointless. Like it
Yeah.
was one of those pointless Jon Moxley matches. And I feel like this is a pointless Jon Moxley match. For a guy that's your Ring of Honor World Champion, you've been putting him in a position where he's been losing a lot of matches on your main show.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the thought process behind that is.
Yeah, I feel like you could say that for a lot of these matches, honestly. Just I don't know why they're doing the things they're doing. I don't know why I don't fucking know, man, because you can't have Moxley lose this match, though, can you? Like,
I don't think Moxley's
I
gonna
don't
lose
know.
this match.
Which is a shame because Bandito's no slouch, as we've seen. He's very good, but it's just like, why do we care? Why do we care? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, I I too agree with you that I have a love-hate relationship when it comes to Moxley because his matches are just very much the same.
Right.
I feel like I kind of said the same thing about MJF sometimes, where it's just like maybe not so much the match itself, but just like his like little quirks and whatever always just make their way into the match, regardless of whatever type of stipulation or anything it is. But Moxley's, it's just like it takes so long to get to like that third gear, if it even gets there, because we've said it how many times when it comes to his matches of like, okay, well, we were in first gear for the longest time and it was getting really fucking slow. And then we finally kicked it in the second gear and it's like, okay, now we're finally going to get it into third gear. This is going to be great. and it never happens.
Yeah.
And we're just like, we literally spent this entire match, and they're never really like short matches either. He has some pretty lengthy matches, which makes it worse because then it's just like it just goes on and on and on and on, and it's just like, holy fuck, man, like give us a break or something. It's just I don't know. It's just it can be compelling when he wants to be, but it's just like that just so happens very like few and far in between lately that it's just like whatever, man. But that being said, though, I don't see him losing the title to Bandito. I'm sure it'll be a decent enough match, but yeah, I just don't see Moxley losing here.
I'm hoping it's a decent match. I'm hoping it's worth the watch at least because
Yeah.
again, like I don't have access to Ring of Honor programming, so I can't even see how Bandito is being booked on Ring of Honor if he's being booked as like I mean, he's the world champion, so I'm hoping he's being booked as a top guy, but he's certainly not being booked as a top guy on the AEW programming. So I think that's one thing that Tony Khan has to look at and say, hey, if we have somebody that's a Ring of Honor champion and we're going to put them on AEW TV, let's try to put them in a situation where they're not going to lose. Because this, honestly, it makes me not care about the Ring of Honor world title or its lineage, and it doesn't make me care about Bandito. Because, again, it just seems like a foregone conclusion that he's going to lose to Jon Moxley.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't like the fact that they are so dead set on 9 times out of 10 just completely separating Ring of Honor and AEW because they have so many opportunities that they could like intermingle these storylines and it would be great. Why are we not showcasing Athena on AEW as much? Like she's been champion for how many years in a row now? 3, 4, I think.
Yeah.
Getting to 4 maybe. Easily one of the best things Ring of Honor has going, and you would think that since that's technically like a I don't know what is like brother company to AEW at this point, we've barely seen any of her because,
Yeah.
like you said, unless you have the means to watch Ring of Honor, you wouldn't know that she is one of the hottest things they have going. But it's just it's that accessibility thing that drives me up a wall with sometimes when it comes to, especially with WWE for sure, because we've talked about that I shouldn't need 5 different subscription services and cable TV to watch your stuff. So AEW doesn't get away with that, or like, you know, it doesn't get away with it either because it's just like, okay, well, if you want us to care about these people in Ring of Honor and you talk about how great Ring of Honor is, you don't always make it the easiest to get a hold of, but you also don't give us a reason to care either because you have to give people the interest to be like, oh, well, I want to go out and find Ring of Honor because it seems really interesting. And the easiest way to do that would be through AEW, and they just refuse to do it. And
Yeah.
I don't understand why.
I would like to see AEW kind of use Ring of Honor as a feeder system, kind of like what WWE does with NXT. I
Yeah.
think that would be a great way to utilize the talent on Ring of Honor, and especially if you're going to mingle them. I say you could do it like WWE does, and then do it differently, where we're also going to mingle our talent on a regular basis between Ring of Honor and AEW as we see fit, because AEW is in a position where they don't have to abide by the quote unquote rules of how you put together a show. However, you just don't want to completely just do a bunch of random shit, you know, and just completely lose the audience. So like you have to learn where your spot's at, where you can take those liberties. And I feel like if they used it as a feeder system, but also did a little commingling, it would be interesting, which they're kind of doing, because now they made Leo Rush, who's become a viral sensation for AEW, he's now the Ring of Honor TV champion. But how is that going to work? You can't mingle those storylines on AEW. You have to keep, you know, so it's a very confusing thing with this Ring of Honor situation, and it doesn't do any favors for Bandito because, again, he's the world champion for Ring of Honor, but you wouldn't know it because when you can see him on AEW programming, he's usually losing.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't give you a reason to be like, oh, I really should check out Bandito because it's just like, well, why? He loses all the fucking time. So why does it matter? And it's a shame.
Yeah, definitely. So we both have Jon Moxley retaining the Continental Championship against Bandito. Now, this next match is very interesting. It is for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken because, again, I am not too hip on the product so far, but I believe Shota Umino just won this title at the recent New Japan event. And he's going to be taking on Pac. Now, here's the thing. I like Pac. I think Pac is underutilized. I think he's underrated. I think if you were to put any title on Pac and have him go on a run, he could actually make it interesting. Now, my usual wrestling booking, and this is just me personal, this is my personal preference. I don't like to take a title off of a champion on their first title defense.
Yeah.
I just think why make them a champion in the first place if you're just going to take the belt off them on their first title defense? They can't even get anything going with the title. I think that's the situation that can happen here because Pac can translate if they need him to do a couple spots in Japan. He can do that very well because he has some history in Japan with Dragon Gate and everything like that, and the Japanese audience is familiar with him, but he's also really changed his game. If you think about it, he's not the same Pac as usual, the same high flyer that Gravity forgot. He's really changed his game to be more ground-based, more in line with the Death Riders mode of operations. So I wouldn't be surprised if they took the title off of Umino and put it on Pac. The only thing I would hate for that to happen, because again, my booking preference is to never take the title off of the champion on their first defense. But again, I'm not hip to New Japan's product right now, so I don't know how they go ahead and they book their champions. And Pac has been so dominant with the Death Riders that you could see him beating Shota Umino.
Yeah, you can, but it just kind of falls back into that forbidden door problem of, like you said, if you can't really watch New Japan and you don't really know how Shota Umino is over there, you can't really like say, oh yeah, for sure he's winning. Oh yeah, for sure he's losing, because it's like, yeah, we know the Pac's really good, but Shota Umino just won this title too, so it's like. And this is another problem with Forbidden Door, where it's just like you have to have these dream matches or whatever, like the randomizer matches, as we call it sometimes, where it's like you have somebody who's going on a tear in Pac, and then you just throw them up against somebody who just won a title. So then you're just like, okay, well, somebody's getting fucked over at some point. Like Pac loses and loses some of his momentum, or Umino loses and he loses the title he just won. So it's just like, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? But I don't know. I'm just gonna assume that Shota Umino is gonna retain the title, because I just feel like you can't put the title on him just to turn around and have him lose it just because Pac's doing like hotter on like his own thing, because there's really not a lot of story behind this too. Like, so
the one little story that I did see about this is Gabe Kidd, of all people, attacking Shota Umino and telling him he's not part of the Death Riders because Shota Umino was once the protege of Jon Moxley and he has a close relationship with Jon Moxley. But again, I don't understand why you would put Gabe Kidd in this situation. Why not have Pac be the guy to fly to Japan and beat down Shota Umino to set up this match at Forbidden Door? It's so freaking easy. Oh my God.
Like literally, because if we didn't know this match was a thing and you just told me that sentence, I would have literally just been like, oh, so it's Gabe Kidd and Shota Umino then, right? Because that's like what the storyline's like talking about. But now you do that, and then it's like, oh yeah, remember that, completely forget about that for a little bit, we're gonna go to this match instead because we feel like it. And so it's like, that makes no sense. And again, it does a disservice to both men, because again, Pac's doing so great right now that him losing to a match that really makes no fucking sense for him to be in is gonna, I mean, hopefully not halt his momentum, just sure not gonna do him any favors. But then Umino, it's just like most people aren't as familiar with him as they are with the AEW product that are most likely going to be watching this pay-per-view. So it's just like, you're just having him lose possibly to somebody just for the sake of, oh, well, they're AEW. It's like, okay, well then, here's my problem with Pac winning. You put the title on him, and you've seen what AEW does when it comes to their programming and titles that have nothing to do with their promotion. They don't do a great job.
Right.
They kind of just have them bring it out as a like set piece, and that's about it. So I don't see how Pac winning would really do that title any favors. So I'm just gonna go with Umino retaining, just for the sake of continuity.
This is where we differ, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. I am in line with everything you're saying. But one thing you did say is that Pac is on such a roll right now. He's on such a roll, winning these matches and being showcased with the Death Riders and looking good and everything that he does. I feel like he could take this one, and this goes against my booking preference. But again, for prediction's sake, I'm just going to go with what I think makes the most sense. And I feel like they're going to capitalize on Pac's momentum. He can be a crossover star where that he could fly to Japan and do a couple spots for Japan and really make a name for himself away from the Death Riders. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want to see him break off from the Death Riders. I think he's a perfect fit for the Death Riders, but I think he's got too much aura, too much swagger, where like he's getting lost in the shuffle in AEW despite being on such a roll.
Yeah, I see what you mean, but at least you don't need a tiebreaker, so that helps. But yeah.
All right. So you have Shota Umino winning this match and retaining the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship, and I have Pac taking it. Remember, this is for a title. It's for the IWGP Global Heavyweight Championship. So it does have some big implications on how you necessarily book these guys, not necessarily from a New Japan standpoint, because I'm not familiar with their product as of late, but if they want to take a chance and say, hey, let's get a guy from overseas, you know, to come over here and do a couple spots as our champion, as our global heavyweight champion, I feel like that's a gamble, and it's a high risk, but a risk that could pay off very well.
Yeah, just as long as they play their cards right. That's the big if.
That's the big if. That's the big if. Now, a match that I am definitely looking forward to, because I am a little bit more familiar with this person. This match is for the AEW Women's World Championship, where Tekla will be defending the title against Starlight Kid from Stardom. Now, I am a little familiar with Starlight Kid. I've seen a handful of her matches. I think she's fantastic in the ring. Tekla is becoming one of my favorites because she just seems like so unhinged, you know, in the way her mannerisms, and now that she's champion, she has this like unwielding confidence and swagger in her, and now she's got the backing of Julia Hart and Sky Blue on top of that. So like she's on top of the world right now as champion. I think she's a great representation of the lineage of the AEW Women's World Championship. I'm looking forward to this match because they both have history with each other, so they're familiar with each other. Also what Tekla's doing in Japan, because she was technically fired and kicked out of the promotion, and now she's going back and she's just wreaking hell all over Stardom. Like, she really has this vendetta against Stardom. I think the reason I'm looking forward to this match too is not only because I've seen a couple Starlight Kid matches, but this does have a little bit of a story behind it between Tekla and her absolute disdain for Stardom.
Yeah, I mean, she's a psychopath when it comes to Stardom. She is just public enemy number one there for obvious reasons. But yeah, no, she has definitely been one of my favorites for a while. It's just she's just so cool, man. That's the best way to put Tekla. She's so fucking cool. Like, just has that swagger, has a, I mean, blatant confidence, pretty much just, let's just say narcissism at this point, but she just makes it work without it being like insufferable in a way, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how she does it, but it works for me. But I am not as familiar with Starlight Kid. I know of her, but just the fact that these two have history and the fact that you speak highly of her, I'm excited for this match. Also, just because it's Tekla, so I know she's going to be like fantastic, and obviously she's had history in Stardom, so I wouldn't be surprised if these two burn the house down. They could be a sleeper pick for a match of the night, possibly.
Might be. I'm putting my chips in for Tekla to retain the AEW Women's World Championship. I don't think AEW is going to take the risk of putting it on someone that's not a part of their promotion. But again, like, they have history, they have chemistry with each other, so this should be a great match.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like I've been saying this, but it's just true. It's just like, you're not taking the title off of Tekla anytime soon.
And I wouldn't. I'd have her literally run through everybody on the roster, run through everybody on the Ring of Honor roster, try to get somebody from CM, and just keep it going. Just keep it going. Yeah. Have her go on an Athena type run with the title, and it would make the most sense.
Yeah, run them all over.
Yeah, exactly. I think so, but I'm definitely looking forward to that match. Another match that I'm looking forward to is the finals of the Women's Owen Hart Cup tournament. The winner receives an AEW Women's World Championship match at AEW All In London. This one is Mercedes Moné, winner of last year's Owen Hart Cup tournament, taking on Maya World, someone who wasn't even supposed to be in the tournament.
Yeah,
someone who wasn't even supposed to be in the tournament is not only getting an opportunity in the final, but damn, she really has a shot here. This for all the talk we've done this episode of AEW and storylines, this one has a wrestling storyline, and it's probably the most wrestling storyline in the entire card. Maya World was a fill-in for someone, I believe it was Sari, who she filled in for, and you know, her first match, you know, you're thinking, she's just a fill-in. She's not. Her first match was against Sky Blue. Sky Blue at this point is an AEW veteran. You know, Maya World is still kind of fresh. She's had a couple tag team matches, been on there. She was, you know, a spot filler a couple times, but nobody to beat Sky Blue. And then what happens? She beats Sky Blue on a surprise.
Yeah.
And then on Collision, the next match in the semifinals against Athena. Hello, it's Athena. All right. Yeah. Probably the best women's wrestler on the planet right now. And she has the title to prove it, you know, and they have a great match. The match Maya World versus Athena on Collision was fantastic. And Maya World pulls out the win. It was it was incredible. I've never been so surprised by a wrestling match. And I'm like, holy shit, we could have got Mercedes Moné versus Athena, but Maya World pulled this off. She pulled this off, so she deserves a lot of kudos, especially for what she's gone through with the situation with losing her brother. And I think Tony Khan, for all the talk we do about Tony Khan and his booking philosophies and the way he books his shows, he does take care of his performers, and he does want to show them that he's there for them. And he did that with Maya World. She was going through a tough time, and the only thing to get her through the tough time was being a wrestler and wrestling. Well, you know, and you know, he said, well, we're going to figure out how to get you wrestling on some shows, if that's what's going to help you. And he's put her in this position where, like, damn, like, I don't know if she's going to win, but I didn't think she was going to beat Athena of all people. And she beat Athena on a roll up.
Yeah.
So she could beat Mercedes. She can, if she can beat Athena, she can beat Mercedes.
Yeah, no, I completely agree on that one. And it's just so crazy to me that if Nixon Newell and Miranda Elise actually did their jobs, we wouldn't probably be talking about this right now. Facts. We probably wouldn't.
Facts.
Because they wanted to be, let's be honest, stupid and take their balls and go home. They opened up the door for Maya and Hyan, and look what fucking happened. Yep. And now look what happened. You're beating Sky Blue, you're beating Athena of all people, and now you're in the finals of the Owen Hart tournament against Mercedes Moné. Like, wild. It's just it's insane. With that being said, though, unfortunately, I just feel like you have to have. Oh, could you imagine Tekla and Mercedes Moné? Like,
that would be fun, but it would be also tough because there's no heel versus face dynamic, and that's where.
But I think people are kind of going they're kind of changing their mind a little bit on Mercedes though, but I think they're just cheering for the sake of cheering for her. But
I thought so too, but then when I thought so too. I thought Mercedes was gonna have a change of heart when she congratulated Maya World after beating Athena. She hugged her in the ring and said, "Hey, we're gonna have this match. It's gonna be great." And then all of a sudden, they both, Athena and Mercedes Moné, beat down Maya World in the middle of the ring. So it's like, oh well, there goes that idea. And so like Mercedes has still got that what's her bread and butter, and that's being a heel, a bad guy. She's just great at it. So that's the only reason I wouldn't want to see a Tekla versus Mercedes Moné, because it's like, who's the good guy that I'm supposed to cheer for? My world like versus Tekla would be a lot of fun, and then that would give me a reason to root for my world. But I just
the problem is that the winner of this match, their title match is at All in London.
Right.
AEW's biggest show of the year. So unfortunately, when you look at it from a money standpoint, which is the bigger matchup? Tekla and Mercedes, or Tekla and Maya? And obviously that's no knock on Maya, because her story is just insane. It's incredible. That just shows you hard work and dedication pay off through adversity and everything. It would be a great feel-good story, but I feel like you have to go with who's going to make you the most money and who's going to be the two in that title match where you're going to go, I'm absolutely going to buy the pay-per-view because of this match alone.
Yeah.
And she's just not there yet. She could be, clearly. They have faith in her, and she's risen to the occasion multiple times. But I just think for right now, unfortunately, every dream run has to come to an end, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I feel like it's going to be a great match. I mean, there's no doubting that one. This is going to be another sneaky good one. But I feel like for the sake of money, unfortunately, and big name matches, I think Mercedes is going to win it.
Yeah, I'm just playing safe bet with this one. I feel like they're going to do the typical thing where they kind of, the Cinderella story falls short, you know? But again, this is big for Maya World. She can definitely use this to be, and again, if I'm Tony Khan, I'm like, this is great. I have another asset to my women's division that I could put in these random matches because I like randomizers. So like Maya World is an asset to in the women's division, so you could put her in more matches. And again, that speaks to, you know, not blocking your blessings. Tegan Knox and Miranda Lee's. You know, it's just saying, hey, you're giving me a job to do. I'm gonna go do my job, and look what comes out of it. Now she's being put in a final for a tournament and a big pay-per-view. So good on her. Either way, win or lose, I feel like Maya World's already won.
Oh yeah, I'd say she's definitely over delivered on what was expected of her. So good for her.
Good for her. Good for her. She deserves it for sure. So we're both going Mercedes Moné in that one to win the Owen Hart Cup tournament for the second year in a row. Let's see if that happens. Next up on the card is a singles match. This is probably the dream match that makes Forbidden Door, and that's Kenny Omega versus Zack Sabre Jr. This is going to be a very interesting match. This is going to be a very fun match. It's going to be a match of contrasting styles where Kenny Omega is kind of the flashy, hard-hitting wrestler, where Zack Sabre Jr. is going to twist you up into a pretzel and make you cry. So I am really looking forward to this match. Just for the simple fact that I'm such a big fan of both these guys. This is just a wrestling fan's dream right here to see this happening. I'm hoping that Kenny Omega can give us a glimpse of the old Kenny Omega, the cleaner a little bit, and Zack Sabre Jr. just has to be Zack Sabre Jr. This is going to be a treat to watch. You can't go wrong with anybody, really, who you pick, really. But I am going to put my chips in for Kenny Omega.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with you on that one, because kind of what you said, Zack Sabre Jr. is showing no signs of slowing down, at all. Like, the guy doesn't age, the guy doesn't do anything. He's just same as he's been for the last decade or so. Kenny slowing down a little bit. I mean, again, he's been beat to hell with injuries and illnesses and everything, so it's taken a toll on him a little bit. So I feel like if it just boils down to who needs the win more, I feel like Kenny, I think Kenny just needs it to show, not that he's still got it, but I guess, yeah, I guess in a way I still got her. Just like, I can hang with somebody like him.
I
Like,
like that. I like that story.
I still got enough left in me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not dead yet, so I think that's just the easiest way to go. I mean, obviously you could have Zack Sabre Jr. win, and then maybe you can play up the whole "oh, do I still have it in me" kind of storyline. But I'm like, is that really where we're gonna go with it? But who knows on that one? But I would think I would just go with the safe bet and just give it to Kenny, give him the feel good win.
I like it. I like it. I think again, this might be a sleeper match for one of the best matches of the night. I think we have a couple matches that are probably going to surprise us, but this being one of them, just because it's such a contrast of styles,
Oh,
with both men being vastly different, but top of their game when it comes to their styles. But again, I'm going safe bet. I'm going Kenny Omega.
I agree.
All right. So moving on for the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament final, where the winner receives an AEW World Championship match at All In London. We have Will Ospreay taking on Swerve Strickland. This match, I feel like I'm begging AEW just to take the easy road. And I feel like the last time I begged AEW to take the easy road, we got Better Than You, baby. So I'm on my knees. Please just don't give us another Better Than You, baby situation where we just got shit handed to us for no reason. Take the easy route. Give Will Ospreay the win so he can have the championship match in London, in his home country, for his fans, and put the belt on. Ospreay should have had the belt by now. Ospreay should have had the belt by now. Probably even before he left with injury, he should have at least had one run with the championship. And this is kind of a bummer because I don't want to say I used to be. I still am a big fan of Swerve Strickland, but in my eyes, for the past, I don't know, what match was it? What was his last match that he had? Jesus, who was the
We're
last?
blanking already.
Huh?
No, I'm blanking too. I'm
Yeah,
trying to remember.
it was like he was off TV for a while. I don't know if it was because he had a meniscus injury.
Yeah.
And like before that, I was pretty high on Swerve. When he came back and he had the match with Bandito, and I was just like, Bandito is a weird guy to go after if you're Swerve Strickland, a former world champion. Why go after Bandito? And then he's just been having these weird matches, where it's just like
Yeah.
kind of just like he's trying this new character where he's a bad guy now. He's really aggressive. He's almost kind of borderline psychotic, and I'm just not buying it with Swerve.
I think the problem is that when we saw how evil and psychotic he could be in the feud with Hangman, and then when you have him come back and again be a bad guy, and you have him pretty much say, "Oh, you think you've seen me at my worst? You haven't seen anything yet." Those are some big shoes to fill at that point.
Right.
Like, you literally had him break into Hangman's house and, show up in his son's bedroom.
Right.
So you are going to set him up to fail automatically by having him say shit like that. So the problem is he was never going to deliver on that because nobody would have been able to deliver on that unless they did something so wild and so out of the box that it's just like, I can't believe they actually went there. That was never going to happen, unfortunately. But I still like Swerve. He's still great, but I feel like they're just doing a disservice with him right now and his direction. Like you said, you come back and you have him go against Bandito. It's weird. I don't get what they're doing with him. They should be doing so much better with him. However, like you said, there should be the easiest slam dunk next few months for the world title. It has to be Ospreay. He has to go to All In London, and he has to win the title. Like, this shouldn't even be up for debate. Like, this should not be something that we'll have to argue about later. It's just there's no way.
Just do the easy thing, man. Just do the easy thing.
Go for the slam dunk.
No one's gonna bat an eye in a different direction if you go with Ospreay winning. If you go with Ospreay winning, they're probably gonna just be like, it's about damn time.
Yeah, literally, they'll be like, "Why did you not do this last year or even 2 years ago? Like, what are you doing?" Like, No, just go for the slam dunk, guys. You don't always have to go for the 3-pointer. Just go for the layup.
Yeah,
Please.
seriously. So hopefully Will Ospreay wins the match against Swerve Strickland, becomes the men's Owen Hart Cup tournament winner, and gets his championship match in London at All In. Hopefully that happens because again, a Will Ospreay versus MJF match in London. As much as I kind of am like with MJF's shtick is kind of like iffy with me, I do think
Yeah.
when the time calls for it and the lights are the brightest, MJF can pull out a great match. So he'll have an excellent match with Will Ospreay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It'll be a great one.
All right. Now moving on, this is the main event of the evening, and it is a steel cage match with a bunch of people in it. It's got a bunch of people in it. Now here's the thing: if Mark Briscoe's team wins, because he's the team captain, if his team wins, Mark Briscoe will earn an AEW World Championship match against MJF. So this is how it's going to break down. For Team Briscoe, it's Mark Briscoe, Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Konosuke Takeshita, and Darby Allin, taking on Team MJF, that is basically comprised of MJF and members of the Don Callis family and Kevin Knight, Kyle Fletcher, Jake Doyle, Kazuchika Okada, and Andrade El Idolo. I mean, why would you make that stipulation if you're not going to have Briscoe win?
I don't even know why we're doing this, period, honestly. Like, I just
This is the random stuff that I have no tolerance for.
like, okay, here's my problem. Do we have to have Briscoe go after MJF again? Like, what's the point? What is really the point? I just don't get it. He's just like I don't know. I guess I've just never seen him as like a main event world champion title holder kind of guy. So I'm just like, why are you having him be the annoying gnat with MJF of all people? Where it's just like, yeah, how about I get a title match? Now I'm gonna get a title match one way or another. I'm getting a title match, and then you do this as your main event, Forbidden Door, and again, it's just a cage match with a whole bunch of guys. And I don't care about it. I really don't. But like you said, why are you going to have that stipulation if you're not going to fulfill it? So it's just like, I guess Briscoe's team's going to win. I guess.
I get it. It's a random match. This could have been a main event on Dynamite. This would have been a great main event on Dynamite. A steel cage match with this many people, this many random individuals. This is a perfect AEW Dynamite main event right here. You know,
exactly. Not a pay-per-view like main event though.
No, and then you make the pay-per-view main event being Mark Briscoe versus MJF for the title right there. Sets up the match for the pay-per-view with an actual story behind it, because the match that happened with the steel cage happened on the Dynamite before to build up the pay-per-view. What a strange concept that is. Using your TV product to build up your pay-per-view product.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Not making your TV product and your pay-per-view product look one and the same with the random matches.
Yeah. It's again the obvious just the obvious to lose AEW sometimes. Like I just
they just try too hard. Tony Khan tries too hard. It's not very difficult to. I'm not trying to downplay anybody's job, because I know probably working the job is difficult. But I mean, we're trying too hard to be different. That we're just all over the place. We have no identity. What is the identity of AEW?
Where the best wrestle.
I mean,
that's it.
But
that's it.
I mean, if you're a logical thinking, which is hard to do in the wrestling community, but if you're a logical thinking wrestling fan, if AEW is where the best wrestle, put them up against WWE's roster. And I know this sounds tribalistic, but a lot of times they don't match up. You know, you're not gonna tell me, I don't know, you know, Swerve Strickland is a bigger name than Obafemi right now.
Yeah.
You can't do that. It just doesn't work. A lot of their guys, like I always go back to this line when thinking about AEW, and I don't know if this line is true because it came from the dirt sheets. But the dirt sheet said that Kenny Omega had a backstage meeting in the early days of AEW, and he said if it was up to him, 80% of the roster wouldn't be hired right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that story is true because it came from the dirt sheets. But if it is true, there's certain parts that you can point to go, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, it's
Yeah.
just, oh fuck. This is how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 men, a 12-man cage match.
Insane.
Where
That's insane.
are they all gonna be in the ring at the same time?
I hope not, because if they do, that is going to be a fucking nightmare to pay attention to, dude. Like,
and it's gonna happen at like 11:30 at night.
Oh, not even 11:30. It's going to happen at like 12:15.
Yeah, so, and they're not going to care because I believe the show is on the West Coast. I believe this show is on the West Coast. Yes, it's in San Jose, California. So they're on Pacific time, so they're not going to give a shit about how late this runs.
Yeah, and is it on Saturday or Sunday?
It's on a Sunday.
Oh, even fucking worse. Of course it is, because you know what? Why not? Of course it is. Like, just give it to or Team Briscoe and get it over with, because it's just like, that's why you had it. Like, you had to build the stakes somehow, even though you literally could have done it in a less convoluted way, but
yeah,
we had to get everybody a paycheck.
This I don't think fits on the card at all.
Not at all.
I don't think this fits on the card at all. And it's your main event. And it's your main event. At least even the Young Bucks match with El Sky Team and Unbound Company, that gives us something where we're like, okay, we're going to be seeing some fresh faces for a little bit. This is just a clusterfuck.
Yeah, and like you said, it's your main event of your $50 to $60 pay-per-view. Like, good job, guys. Real good work.
But we're both going for Team Briscoe, and again, if Team Briscoe wins, Team Briscoe wins, Mark Briscoe will earn an AEW World Championship match against Maxwell Jacob Friedman. They didn't even give us a definitive when it was going to happen. They just said it's going to happen. So there you have it. It's going to happen if Briscoe's team it can actually win the match. Now, if Briscoe's team doesn't win the match, that's going to make me scratch my head, because then it's just like why have the match,
just why
yeah
why. It'll be a triple threat outline, don't worry about it.
I don't know, but there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is AEW's Forbidden Door pay-per-view that is happening this Sunday on pay-per-view. Like I said, there's a couple matches on there that I'm definitely looking forward to, so I'm definitely going to be checking out the pay-per-view. I don't know if this is going to be a pay-per-view that I'm going to check out live, or am I gonna wait?
Yeah, I think we might wait, honestly, because it's just like they're not really giving me a reason to pay that money. Like, there's just no way.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough one, but this kind of falls in line with AEW on the regular basis.
Yeah, whether we like it or not.
Yeah. But we're not done, ladies and gentlemen. We still have a whole other PLE to go over and give our predictions for. This one, I feel like this one might be a little bit easier for us to go through because everything has a storyline attached to it. Everything makes sense. We're not gonna be. It makes us sound like such homers for WWE, but I'm telling you,
trust me, I'm not.
We're not. But I'm telling you, the one thing that WWE does better than AEW is they have storylines attached to everything that they put on their TV product. Everything that they put on their PLE has a storyline attached to it, so you're not lost if you're a casual fan. You're in line with everything. You're in line with the hardcore fan, and it's all going to be great. There are actually 6 matches on this card compared to the usual 5. There's an extra match on the card. Remember, the first hour of the show will be available on ESPN TV-wise, where they will have both the King of the Ring and the the Queen of the Ring tournament final on the ESPN program. And then after that, the show will be shown in full on ESPN Unlimited. If you're outside of the United States, you can watch it on Netflix. All right, so we got a lot to go over here with this one. We got 6 matches. We got King of the Ring and Queen of the Ring. Let's start it off with the King of the Ring tournament final, Jey Uso versus Obafemi, where the winner will be crowned King of the Ring and earn the World Championship title match at SummerSlam. Jey Uso versus Obafemi. I mean, I'm starting to see what everybody always said about Jey Uso, that he's just pretty much an entrance. He's kind of, when his matches, when the bell rings, that's when you kind of turn off your focus when it comes to Jey Uso. I think Obafemi is just too hot of a commodity right now. I don't see why you would have Jey Uso beat Obafemi. It just wouldn't make sense to me at all.
Yeah, you have to have, with the way Obafemi's been on a roll lately, you have to have him win this. Like, if you really want to destroy, let's be real, if you want to destroy whatever goodwill may or may not exist with the majority of the fan base, if you really want to destroy whatever shred of that's left, have Jey Uso win, see what happens. I'm sure it would go real well. But
that would just be a bad idea on all fronts.
Yeah, and you have to think it's probably crossed their mind at least once. They've thought about it probably, but you have to give it to Obafemi. Like I said, the role this guy's on, you can't not do it. It's just like, he is undeniably going to be King of the Ring. Like, there should be no debate, like, at all.
Yeah, and then he's gonna go on, and then you make a story out of Obafemi versus Roman Reigns is a very, very intriguing story. Very intriguing story, because you have the ruler versus the tribal chief.
Right to sell.
That sells tickets right there.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's something new for Roman too. It's not just the same shit over and over again.
For real, I'm so big on Obafemi. Everything he does is just damn near perfect. The way his presentation when he comes out to the ring, he can cut a promo. He's dominant in the ring. He makes doing things in the ring look cool. So like, he's just the perfect WWE superstar for right now. So I'm very high on Obafemi. Again, Jey Uso, I never wanted to be that guy that was like, Jey Uso is just an entrance and then the bell rings. But honestly, like, he's
not really convincing us otherwise.
He's not. He hasn't given us anything otherwise that shows us anything different. So and then he likes to chirp a lot after the match. He likes to chirp a lot on social media, on Instagram, on his Instagram stories, about how he perceives himself to be public enemy number 1. And I don't know, it's just not a good look.
Yeah, it's like nothing turns WWE fans off more than somebody with a victim complex, and boy, does he have one.
The victim complex of Jey Uso.
Yeah, it's like, well, buddy, sometimes you can't always blame booking. Sometimes you kind of have to look in the mirror, but
yeah, definitely.
Why would we do that?
But again, we both have Obafemi being the winner, being crowned King of the Ring, and earning a World Championship match at SummerSlam. Next up on the card is for the Queen of the Ring tournament final, where the winner will be crowned Queen of the Ring and earn a championship match at SummerSlam. This one's interesting because it features Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. Liv Morgan already has a world title. She's just doing this for bragging rights, basically.
To be fair, you wouldn't know that she's the champion, though, the way they're booking her.
That's true. That's true. That is very true.
It is so weird to me, because when she won it, we were like, finally, she's going to have an even better run than she did the first time. This is going to be great. She's like, has all this momentum. And they literally turned around and was like, hey, are you sure about that? Because I saw the stat, and I think it's true. She has not defended this belt since April.
Oof.
Like, over 2 months. Like, and you mean to tell me that she's going to win Queen of the Ring and she's going to go face possibly Rhea, and we don't even know what hell's going on with her because she's hurt. So it's like, why? No. I think Io's going to win, and I'm wondering if Roxanne or somebody accidentally on purpose or not costs Liv this match, because there's been some tension going on there still for the 50th time. Like, is this finally going to be the thing that fully breaks up Judgment Day for good? Probably not, because We've been saying that for the last like what 3 years now, and they're still going. But yeah, either way, I still think Io's gonna win because it just makes more sense for her, and clearly they don't know what the fuck they're doing with Liv right now. So I'm gonna give it to Io. I say she's earned it.
And I'm also going with Io because simply, I mean, how long did we get that whole Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley situation? I'm still kind of
Yeah.
semi burnt out from that.
Yeah, it's like I'm good.
Yeah, as a viewer, that's exactly my sentiment when it comes to any sort of Liv Morgan Rhea Ripley situation. It's like, I'm good. I've seen it. We've seen it. It took up a whole damn 6 months of programming, and we got what we got out of it. I would like to see Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley, because we've seen Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley before, and they've tore the house down.
Yeah, or would she? But would she challenge Liv though?
I don't think so. I don't think so, because I think the idea is having Io Sky versus Liv Morgan gets it out of the way already.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think that'll happen. I'm just looking back at the matches that Io Sky had with Rhea Ripley, especially on Raw, where Bianca Belair kind of got involved inadvertently and cost her the match. I look back at that match, and that match being a high turning point for Io Sky, and in my eyes, being that Io Sky is one of the best wrestlers, male or female, on any roster.
Yeah.
I think
I agree.
this is time. Whatever belt Io Sky goes after, they need to give her the belt and have her go on a run, like a run.
Yeah, I agree. And I feel like too, with the whole like going again with like possibly Liv and Rhea again, the way these two are kind of being booked right now, that would not be entertaining in the slightest. Because again, Liv just has the belt for the sake of like looking good with the belt, because they forgot that she has to like actually like defend that belt. And then Rhea, no one knows what the hell's going on with her because she's hurt. But then it's like she's hurt supposedly not enough to like have her relinquish the title. But then it's just like, okay, so neither of your championships right now are being defended.
Yeah.
And then you want them both to go against each other. No. I'd be more compelled to see Io and Rhea, because this time there's no bad blood between them. They're like best friends, so it'll be that like, I really don't want to do this against you, but I have to. So a little friendly competition never hurt.
Yeah, exactly. I'm totally in line with that. That makes the most sense. It's just when you don't have them, especially with Liv Morgan's case, because she's not injured, she should be defending the title, right?
Yeah, she's just there.
She's just there. So like,
What are we doing?
I wonder what the thought process behind having Liv Morgan in this tournament in the first place, because she shouldn't be in this tournament because she's already the world champion.
Yeah, and to literally think when she was about to win the title, we're just like, she needs to win the belt, she needs to win Queen of the Ring, she needs to win everything, and now it's just like, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Yeah, it's it's one of the more perplexing for all. I know by just being chronically online how the online universe views WWE's story booking and everything like that, and how they're down on the product. I'm a little different. I'm not so down on the product, but I will say that they do need to do a better job of booking their champions, especially like Liv Morgan in this situation, just to make this situation with Io Sky look a little bit more credible, a little bit more like there's some stakes on the line besides the Queen of the Ring tournament.
Yeah, I agree. It's just, I don't know what it is. It's like getting them to the belt is like completely different, and then they get the belt on them, and then they're just like, oh, I don't know what the fuck to do now. Like, do you know what to do? I don't know what to do. It's like, you think you guys should be experts at this by now, or should I actually know what you're doing instead of just, okay, well, we got him the title, guys. Now what?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
do we do? It's just like it's perplexing to me how they continue to make this mistake
yeah.
over and over and over again.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. But hopefully the match is good. I think the match is still going to be good. Liv
Yeah.
Morgan to me is vastly underrated in the ring. I think she's very good in the ring. I don't think she gets credit for being very good in the ring. And Io Sky again to me is one of the best wrestlers on the planet, male or female. So I think this
Yep.
match is still going to be a barn burner. Still going to be pretty good.
I agree.
All right. So moving on, we have a match for the United States Championship where Trick Williams will be defending the title against main roster newcomer Ricky Saints. And I am looking forward to this match because I want to see if they have some chemistry built up with each other, if they can have a great match. I need to see more of Ricky Saints. I think they're booking him better on the main roster, giving him a couple more matches, but I would like to see Ricky Saints more in a couple matches before they give him a title. So I don't think he's going to beat Trick for the United States Championship. And not that he should, because Trick is one of the hottest things in WWE going right now. And giving him the United States Championship and actually having him doing kind of the opposite of what you're doing with Liv Morgan, giving him matches and having him defend the title is making him look like a credible champion.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's absolutely no reason they should take the title off a Trick right now. And that's no like shade to Ricky. He's great. It's just we need to see more of him because I feel like they could be booking him a little bit better or just to make him more of a threat. But Trick's just too hot right now. You'd be stupid to take that belt off of him right now. Not that he would honestly really need it because I think he's just going to be hot no matter what, but it just wouldn't make any sense. So this
Yeah.
one's a pretty easy prediction, I think.
Yeah, pretty easy, but I'm still looking forward to the match. I'm still looking forward to seeing if they have any chemistry built up. And I want to see, I look for, like, I guess you would call it the comfortability of Ricky Saints coming from NXT. Now he's on the main roster. Now he's going to be featured a little bit more. Is he comfortable on the main roster? Does he look like he belongs? And that's what I'm really looking forward to. I just think Trick Williams is just too hot of a commodity right now to lose the title. And he's making it look good.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. All right. So moving on, we have a steel cage match. A steel cage match, and hopefully finally this brings the end to this whole situation where Seth Rollins can do what he says and puts the Vision in his rearview mirror. It's a steel cage match between Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Not for any negative reason, but I'm like, okay, if this is the last one between Seth Rollins and a member of the Vision, if this is the last one, I'm good for it for a while because they've been running this
Yeah.
into the ground.
Yeah, it's been a lot, honestly. It's just like, guys, we got to give it up at some point. And I get that it's been like there've been different like iterations of the Vision, different people in it, and people getting hurt and coming back and whatever. And it's just like that still doesn't really take away from the fact we've been spending so much time on this. Like we're good. Like we're good for a while. As far as who wins though, I feel like this boils down to again who needs it more.
Yeah.
And I feel like Braun needs it more.
Mm.
I feel like he needs to get some momentum back that he lost after being hurt. So, and again, Seth is again almost one of those guys where he's just like creatively bulletproof for the most part, where it's just like he could eat a couple losses and no one's really going to bat an eye. And also, I feel like if you maybe throw in the fact of course, you're going to have the Vision interfere in some way, shape, or form. Perhaps Bronson Reed comes back and costs Seth the match. I'd be interested to see if that would happen. And it could very easily happen. But yeah, I feel like Braun just needs to get some of the momentum back that he lost. So I'm gonna give it to him by some sort of nefarious means.
Interesting. Interesting. I agree with you. I agree with you, but I don't agree on your prediction. I agree with you on the
Alright.
on why your prediction is Braun Breaker. You do make some good points. He could use a win coming back from injury. It makes the Vision look a little bit more dominant if they give them this win. It's supposed to be the end all be all of this feud right here. But I feel like WWE's MO is they want to end this thing on a happy note and have the good guy in the whole situation win and be the conquering hero. of it all. So that's why my prediction is for Seth Rollins. But I do agree with you on your points that you made about Braun Breaker. Um, so in that case, if Braun Breaker was to win, I wouldn't be upset,
Yeah.
because you make some good points. And again, this could Rollins losing doesn't do anything to hurt Rollins, but Braun Breaker winning does great things for Braun Breaker. In terms of his
Yeah.
career resume to have that win, I just think WWE's mode of operations is they want to end this on a high note, on a feel good note, and have the good guy win, and that's why I feel like Seth Rollins is going to win.
I'll take that. I just think that I would think that even if Braun does win and like has that interference that helps him win or whatever, I don't really think a lot of people are going to be clamoring for, well, no, Seth didn't win. That was bullshit. We got to do it again. I think they'll just be like, okay, we can move on, right? Like, I don't think anyone's really clamoring for this thing to continue one way or the other.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but I'm actually clamoring for it to be done. I I'm
Yeah.
I'm I need Seth Rollins to do something different. I need him in a
Yeah.
different situation, whether it's going after Roman Reigns, I wouldn't mind seeing that, or
Yeah.
or just something different, something other than the Vision. Let the Vision go after Joe Hendry. Or, like let
Yeah.
let's
Do
switch it up a
something.
little. Yeah, let's do something different. But
Yeah.
those are our predictions for Seth Rollins Braun Breaker steel cage match. You have Braun Breaker winning. I have Seth Rollins winning. This is probably, I'm thinking this is the only match we're going to differ on the card. Let's see. We have 2 matches to go, and this next one is for the Women's United States Championship, where Tiffany Stratton will be defending the title against Jade Cargill. I feel like this one's going to be a good one. I feel like
Yeah.
they have some good chemistry with each other. Unfortunately, Jade Cargill matches are always going to be under a microscope. I feel like, where they're
Yeah.
always going
For
to
a while.
they're always going to be scrutinized, and they're always going to be like, oh, she was never ready, she's ready, whatever, whatnot. I'm on the camp that Jade Cargill is doing some good stuff. I
Yeah.
think I think she's been doing some good stuff. I think pairing her with BFAB and Meechin was great for BFAB and Meechin because it makes them look credible. And now you're used to seeing them, so it makes it feel real, So, but again, Jade's been dominant. Jade's been dominant. Tiffany hasn't really been defending the title all that often. Again, it's
Shocker.
the epidemic that WWE has, where they have their champions win the title and then do fuck all with it. Um, as far as who I think is going to win, I feel like the numbers game is going to play a part, where Jade Cargill has BFAB and Meechin in her back pocket, and they can get involved. Tiffany Stratton maybe has Chelsea Green, but she doesn't really want to be associated with Chelsea Green.
Uh, it's tough because I feel like I think we could definitely agree that Jade's improved exponentially
Yeah,
since she first debuted in WWE. I think she's at that stage where she can put on good matches, if not great matches, with specific people. I don't think she's at that point in her career yet where she can have a good match with just about anybody. Like, she's not the ring general, she's not the
right,
one calling shots, she's not like we always say you can wrestle a wet paper bag and make it look good. She's definitely
right.
not to that point yet, but with the right person, with the right chemistry, she can do great match. She like have great matches, as we saw with Rhea. For this match though, I feel like it'd be so odd though to have her like step down from the title, like the world title picture, to just win the like secondary title that hasn't even been defended that much. I don't know, man. Like, I
It's
feel like I agree with the numbers game, but I feel like even though Tiffany wants nothing to do with Chelsea, I feel like maybe she might make the save and then turn around and go, "Yeah, see, you owe me, because if it wasn't for me, you would have lost the title."
mm.
Like,
So maybe she's trying to finagle her way into a title match.
perhaps, or at the very least, just be like, I mean, I told you that you needed help and you weren't listening to me, and so I took matters into my own hands, and because of me, you're still the champion. So I could kind of see that happening because Chelsea is very sneaky like that. And I would like to see Chelsea in more like high profile feuds anyway.
I
So
think she deserves it. I think she's getting more
yeah.
popular with the crowd. I think the crowd is cheering for her. I think she deserves to be in more high profile matches.
I agree, and I think that would be the way to do it. So I'm gonna go with Tiffany retaining because Chelsea's gonna do her a solid and help her out.
Tiffany retaining or Jade Cargill? Again, you made good points, and now it's making me question my prediction of Jade Cargill. Oh man, the thing is, they've done nothing with this Tiffany Stratton reign. I almost forgot she had the United States Championship. So hopefully after this match, if she does keep it, they could actually do something with it. And I think ending with Tiffany Stratton retaining because Chelsea Green came out and helped her again is a good story.
Yeah.
I think it's a good story. So I am going to be in line with you. I'm going to also make my prediction, Tiffany Stratton to retain the Women's United States Championship.
Nice.
All right. So that brings us to the main event of the evening. It is a triple threat match for the undisputed WWE Championship where Cody Rhodes will be defending the title against Gunther and Sami Zayn. I am strangely looking forward to this match because it's something different for Cody. We're not going to see Cody in the typical old school wrestling match sort of vibe. He's gonna have to do something different because this is a triple threat match, and remember, triple threat matches, anything goes. No disqualifications, no countouts, nothing like that, so they can definitely take advantage of the no rules situation. I feel like Sami might do that, but in terms of who's going to win, well, I mean, maybe they put Sami in the match so that if Gunther wins, it's not too big of a shock. Like, what if Gunther pins Sami?
Maybe. I don't know.
It's tough.
Because it's like I also feel like that if they would do that, I feel like it kind of, I don't know, cheapens Gunther's win a little bit. Like, he didn't actually beat. How do I say it? That sounded mean again. Like, it's more impactful to beat somebody like Cody Rhodes outright than it is to, well, I beat him, but I technically pinned Sami Zayn to do it. So it's like, I don't think that's very, like, sensational. I don't think. But then why the hell do you have Sami in that match then, though? But
Interesting.
But is Gunther and Sami going to be so involved with each other that Cody just sneaks in and retains the title?
And that's something he can do because that's definitely something that Cody Rhodes is capable of doing.
Yeah, and I mean, he's been kind of showing that side a little bit more and more lately, so you know what? I'm going to go ahead and say that's going to happen. He's going to find a very opportunistic moment and he's just going to sneak away with it. And people are going to continue to be pissed off and he's just not going to really care. I'm going to go with Cody retains.
I am... Smart money for me says Cody Rhodes retains. Risky money would go with Gunther winning the championship. Man.
It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. I'm going to put my chips in for Cody Rhodes to win, so that'll eventually give us Cody Rhodes and Sami Zayn one-on-one.
Yeah, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. So I think that's the way I'm going to go. I want to see, I think the money is in Cody Rhodes versus Sami Zayn one-on-one. So I think I'm going to put my chips in for Cody to retain this in this match for the World Heavyweight Championship, or the Undisputed Championship, I mean. And yeah, hopefully hopefully the next pay-per-view, maybe for SummerSlam, it'll be Sami Zayn versus Cody Rhodes, which wouldn't be a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't complain. I mean, why not?
Yeah. All right. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Cody Rhodes retaining the Undisputed Championship. We both have Obafemi beating Jey Uso and becoming the King of the Ring. We also have Io Sky beating Liv Morgan and becoming the Queen of the Ring. Trick Williams will retain his U.S. Championship. Braun Breaker will defeat Seth Rollins in a steel cage match, according to Shay, but I'm going for Seth Rollins. We both have Tiffany Stratton retaining the United States Championship against Jade Cargill, and we both have Cody Rhodes retaining the Undisputed Championship against Gunther and Sami Zayn. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is our predictions for WWE Night of Champions, which is happening Saturday afternoon if you're on the East Coast of the United States. It's Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. And if you don't have ESPN Unlimited and you're still on the fence on whether or not to buy ESPN Unlimited to see this PLE, the first hour, which is, I believe they're doing both King and Queen of the Ring matches for the first hour, are going to be shown on ESPN. So that can kind of whet your appetite and let you know if you want to invest and go ahead and get the ESPN Unlimited to watch the rest of the show. So there you have it, the first hour on ESPN TV. I think that's pretty cool. That's a smart way to do business.
Yeah, get them sucked in and then you get their money.
Yep, and then you get their money. That's what it's all about when it comes to these pay-per-views and PLEs. Yeah. The money.
Monies.
That's what
all about the monies.
All about the monies. Danhausen would love this episode because because it's so money centric. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Those are our predictions for both AEW Forbidden Door and WWE Night of Champions. Shay, thank you for predicting with me and doing this. I think we have a little bit of news that we want to bestow upon our listeners, do we?
Yeah, we've been talking about it for a couple days now, but next week when we do our Forbidden Door and Night of Champions recap show, I will be indefinitely stepping away from the podcast. Not forever, but I wanted to be completely honest with you guys. I didn't want you to feel just like blindsided if we just dropped that next week, or if we just didn't really say anything and we just didn't have new episodes. To be completely honest, I am just getting really burnt out with wrestling right now. I'm not as interested in it right now as I have been in the past, and I just don't want that to negatively affect the wrestling, the Ringside Rundown, or any of the recaps we do or whatever. I just don't want to feel like it's an obligation, and I feel like it was starting to feel that way just to watch the wrestling. It obviously has nothing to do with Erik. We've talked about it. I said if it wasn't for him, this would have happened a long time ago, but he made it more enjoyable for me to come in. But I just need a break. I don't know how long it's going to be. It may be months, who knows, but so next week will be our last Ringside Rundown episode for a little while, but the good news about that is that we're not completely gone, though. No. We're not going to be completely gone, because go ahead. If you want to say the other news.
I was just going to say that we're not completely gone. The live streams will still be happening every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And in the future, we're going to be setting up a gaming stream between Shay and I. I don't know what we're going to be playing or what we're going to be doing, but we're going to definitely set that up to have a night on stream where you can all come hang out with us while we play some video games, chat, and do what we usually do. Because most of the time, like we said earlier in the show in the beginning, we've been doing this for so long that now we just kind of... Most of the time we talk to each other, sometimes it's not even about wrestling anymore. It's just about other stuff.
Yeah, just random stuff. So
I mean, like this past 5 years that we've been doing this podcast together, you know, I really consider you one of my close friends, one of my best friends. And you know, it's not like we're going to be breaking away from each other or anything like that. We're still going to be keeping in touch with everybody's mental health and everything, because that's important for friends to do. And
Yeah.
eventually, when we feel better, we'll be back. I think something big has to happen to make us go, whoa, like that'll get us back into wrestling, you know?
Yeah.
Because I too am feeling a little bit burnt out. I'm not going to take a break from wrestling. I'm still going to do everything that I do with the live streams and all that other stuff, and still watch the programs and everything like that. But I understand when people say they're burnt out, because I too am a little burnt out, and I see myself being burnt out on the shows where I'm not streaming because I'm not really paying attention to them. They're kind of on as background noise. That's when I know my focus is on other things and I'm not really into it as much. But I'm still going to be doing the live streams on Twitch and YouTube. And eventually, like we said, this is not a forever thing. We're not going to be ending the show or anything like that. We're just going on hiatus for a little bit, just to giving us a little bit of a reset and kind of drumming up our want to do this, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And you're not gonna miss out on us talking with each other and just, like shooting the shit or whatever. That's why we're gonna bring the gaming news back, or the gaming like streams, because we've been talking about it pretty much since we started. Once we started to get things a little more serious about the channel, we thought about, oh well, maybe we could do like gaming streams or whatever. And it's just, I feel like my schedule, unfortunately, in particular, it was just like I literally, and I still don't have any time, and work's getting really crazy right now, and I might be doing some overtime things, so that definitely wasn't going to help the schedule either. And yeah, I just figured it was best for me to step away for a little bit, but it'll be cool to definitely get the gaming stuff up and running no matter what we play. It'll just be nice to hang out with you guys in a less stressful, low stakes kind of setting where we can just talk about literally anything and everything, and just do other things that we like, which is video games. We both enjoy video games, so be nice to share that with you guys as well.
Yeah, definitely. Again, the podcast is not going anywhere, so make sure you guys are all followed and subbed up on the podcast. It's available on all podcast platforms and YouTube. All you have to do is just search Ringside Rundown and hit the follow or subscribe button, whatever the platform asks of you, and you won't miss an episode. You can still go back and check out all our other episodes, all of our other 207 episodes that we put together so far. You can go back and check those out. Those are all still available on the feed, and like I said, it's available on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Audible, wherever you listen to podcasts. All you have to do is just search Ringside Rundown, and you should be able to find it on your platform of choice. If you do not have a platform of choice, but you're still curious about the show and want to check it out, all episodes are available on our YouTube channel. If you go to youtube.com/@ringsiderunpod, you can find full episodes of the podcast. Like I said, I do live streaming every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday on the YouTube channel, as well as the Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/ringside rundown is the main hub where we do our live streaming, where we watch shows like Raw, SmackDown, AEW Dynamite, and AEW Collision, and also PLEs and pay-per-views. So if you definitely want to check that out and be a part of the fun, it's a lot of fun watching the shows and reacting to it, and also being able to chat with other wrestling fans. So if you want to meet other wrestling fans and join our little community, come follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ringside rundown. That's available every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Shay, where can they get in touch with you?
Well, you can find me on my wrestling Twitter at Shay_ringside_. Like we always joke, it's kind of like Erik's, except I copied the homework a little bit. But obviously, I may be going a little dark on that for a while. So if you want to follow my personal Twitter, where I'll be doing my other non-wrestling related things, you can find me at ShayleenHickson21. I got some cosplays coming up in a couple months. I got some concerts I'll be going to, and maybe post some stuff about that, some sporting events. But in the meantime, though, if anything, go give Erik a follow and keep up with all of his streams and whatever, because he definitely works very hard to bring you guys the wrestling content that obviously will not be as much with the podcast going on a hiatus for a little bit, but still continue to support the channel. Like I said, we'll get the gaming streams up and going. So give us a little bit extra, but go follow Erik on his stuff because he's definitely putting in a lot of the work.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Like you said, it's just hiatus, just giving us a little bit of time to get our juice back. That's every so often you need that. You need to step away
Yeah.
from a little bit just to get your mojo back and everything. So when we come back, we're coming back strong. We're gonna be doing questions and everything like that, and also bring you some wrestling news stuff. And it's gonna be the same ringside rundown you all know. Just give us a little bit of time to recalibrate, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the end of the episode 208 of the Ringside Rundown podcast. We gave you our predictions for AEW Forbidden Door and WWE Night of Champions. That is happening this weekend. We're coming back next week with an episode where we'll be talking about these shows, what we liked, what we didn't like, and giving our match ratings for each match on both shows. So look forward to that. Like I said, on all podcast platforms and YouTube, make sure you're followed and subbed up so you don't miss the episode, and check us out. For Shay Hickson, my name is Erik Vasquez. Thank you for listening, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.
See you later, guys.